let's go ahead to the very special birthday edition of Fitzgibberish.
It's gibberish, yes. It's a diatribe, it's conspiracy theory, and it's an island in the middle of unapologetic and sometimes inaccurate sports talk. We haven't done anything yet. Let's give us some time to get on inaccurate. But anyway, baseball is back. And in more, I think, than my opinion, it is the hardest team sport ever invented. From a time-consuming aspect alone, that's very hard to deny. It's undeniable. It takes most players years to be good enough to play well, let alone get in the majors, and that's after college. They spend that time toiling in the minor leagues with no money and even less sense. They go to towns with names like Altoona and Biloxi, Rocket City, Gwinnett, if I'm saying that right, and Sugarland, Texas. I wonder what they got in Sugarland, Texas, Combs. Almost every great player must do this for longer than they and the team expect. Oh, yeah, and there's 162 games in a season in the majors. It was no different for one player on a bus in Arkansas in early June of 2002 when he was with the Angels organization in the minor leagues. He was toiling on this day, toiling through the business end of a couple of beers when he got caught on said team bus by manager Dud Sisson. The player's reaction was, "This is effing bullcrap. We're men." And then he almost knocked the manager out. Most players would be kicked off the team for such things. But this pitcher was special. This pitcher, at the time, he was the only pitcher in the minors to throw over 100 miles an hour. And he was nicknamed after a character in the movie Bull Durham, Nuke, if you remember, for his wild throws and even wilder behavior. After that bus incident, the player would fire his agent, Matt Sosnick, for not backing him up, to which that agent would respond, "Imagine being in the top 5 in the world at what you do, and your demons are so terrible that your ability is dwarfed. The worst thing that could happen is if he, this player, gets to the big leagues. If he gets to the big leagues, he'll free fall. He can't handle success." That pitcher would get kicked out of the Angels organization less than 2 years later for consistent alcohol abuse and behavior. And in almost every case, the agent would get his wish, except this time. If you didn't guess it already, the pitcher's name is Bobby Jenks.
Oh.
Bobby Jenks. And just a few years after that bus incident, he would play the lead role in the greatest American single season closer story in baseball history. Yes, on July 6, 2005, Bobby Jenks would get to the big leagues with another team, the Chicago White Sox. In his first appearance against Tampa Bay, when they were still the Devil Rays, he didn't give up a run, but would give up 3 runs in his next appearance, and his ERA would balloon to 20. Then he would only give up 3 runs in his next 16 appearances. He was dominant, consistently throwing over 100 miles an hour when almost no one else did back then, and had a devastating 12-6 curveball that buckled players' knees faster than a phone call from their wives on a long road trip. Thus started the legend of Bobby Jenks. When the Sox, then closer Dustin Hermanson, went down, Bobby closed game for the White Sox in the home stretch of 2005. He would only have 6 saves that year, but baseball was taking note. Ozzie Guillen even pitched in on the legend and would do this when calling for Bobby from the bullpen.
If you're Bobby Jenks, here's what your manager thinks of you. Give me this guy. Big guy, tall guy. Jenks coming in.
There's no one like Ian, man. Come on.
Uh,
You've heard the story before, but Bobby Jenks came out of nowhere. The man has a story out of a fairy tale, like a boy raised by wolves. Pretty much out of baseball. 1 year later, Jenks would throw the last pitch of the year.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmeiro over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
He went on to
Series in 2005.
yeah, you never mention it, so it's like you don't even know it happened. He went on to save games after that, and on August 12th, 2007, he would set the record at the time for retiring 41 straight hitters. Pretty good for a guy who in 2000, after getting drafted, got drunk and took a lighter to his own throwing hand, permanently scarring himself. He would go on being dominant, but ultimately leave the Sox in 2010 to the Boston Red Sox. He would get hurt in Boston, and his demons would return. 13 years ago today, on March 23rd, 2012, during a routine police stop in Boston, Jenks would get a DUI. He would check himself into rehab in 2013, stay clean, but never pitch again in the majors. After his career, he would coach for the White Sox organization for a little bit and is currently manager of the Windy City Thunderbolts. News came in this week that Bobby had been diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer, and the prognosis does not look good. The family is taking donations for his medical bills and setting up possibly his last signing of memorabilia. From a self-centered perspective, Bobby is 44 years old, and today is my 44th birthday. So we share the same age, and we share something else. Bobby Jenks is an alcoholic, and so am I. Bobby, even though I don't know you, I am thinking about you and your family, brother. Thanks for your time. And that's Fitzgibberish. Combsy?